Wow. Mary McGee, Chantelle Cameron. You ladies, bruv. All I'm saying, yeah, that is what you call a fight. Do you know what? It's not even just a fight, it's everything surrounding the fight with regards to just the setup of the tournament, the fact that they're willing to put all of their belts on the line to go into like a semi-final or a final, do what they can to become undisputed. The heart, the bruv, intensity level, skill as well. There's also a lot of skill involved in this fight as well, but bruv, what a fight. You know what? I'm actually mad that Dilly's not fighting on this card anymore, because there was enough fights to satisfy me today. I can tell you that for free. We're going to get into a few of those today. But if you haven't done it already, please click the subscribe button, wherever it is. I think it's somewhere, hold on, down there somewhere. 9-lettered word subscribe. I think it's 9 letters. Click the subscribe button, post notifications on, and like the video. Boom. I'm going to start with Chantelle Cameron and we'll work a bit down. Chantelle Cameron and Mary McGee. To be fair, during the week I said, look, Mary McGee, I'm a now a fan of her. A real huge fan of her, because I don't know, it's something about her, the way she was talking, the way she was describing it. She sounded like to me a rapper. She sounded like a rapper. She said, yeah, you know, I used to sell tickets to my fights out of a car boot, like a mixtape, and everything about it just says to me like, wow, like you've got a very good personality that connects with your audience. I really like Mary McGee. Chantelle Cameron, again, on TV trying to for quite some time. Very, very good core fundamental skills, I swear. Very like positive type of person. So I really, do you know what? This is probably, usually I sway to one person or the other. I was in the middle, to be fair, because I really liked both fighters. I thought that based on just skill, boxing ability, Chantelle Cameron would win, and I think she'd win on points, because I don't think that Mary McGee is a very weak individual. She's very tough, and I don't think Chantelle Cameron can knock this lady out, especially her, because she just came right out the gate. Listen, they were right on the neck and neck, literally just going hell for leather, yeah, throwing caution to the wind, bun it, yeah. And to be fair, when they were going into those exchanges, when they were embarking upon those exchanges, Chantelle Cameron, straight after that or during those engagements, she looked to have a little bit more stamina and have a little bit more left in her in terms of the tank than Mary McGee. But it's also a very risky move as well, because it's not always about how much battery you got left, is how long can you sustain that level of battery going forward, or if you get punched with that little level of battery, are you going to get up? And Mary McGee, to be fair, you know, she just put her all into it. And Chantelle Cameron during the fight, I think Jamie Ward was telling her, look, like, be a little bit more smarter, use your footwork a little bit better, stay on the outside of sort of mid to outer range, and then when you're coming inside of range, single shot, maybe 2 shots at best, okay? Because once you get into an exchange, it's not really going to benefit you, if that makes sense. Even though I thought she probably would have won that, but it's a very, very risky move, and a risk that you don't really need to take. You know, Mary McGee took one round off, and then she fought back, and then what happened was that sort of middle of the fight, maybe around 3-4 to around round 9 or something, a lot of it was sort of Chantelle Cameron figuring out her opponent. Once she figures out her opponent, she's a very good adjuster. Once she figures you out, it's a bit like, all right, we clocked you now. Now we can just kind of capitalize, see the mistakes, poke holes into those mistakes. Like, Chantelle Cameron's IQ is very, very underrated. Her boxing IQ is very, very underrated. I think it's extremely higher than we give her credit for. And to be fair, a lot of female boxers, IQ are extremely high. I just don't think that they get enough credit. People bang on about Lomachenko and these man, but I think Tyson Fury. But I think Chantelle Cameron's got her IQ's up there, bro. Big man thing. Anyway, this one went all the way to there. Even though Mary McGee was at parts of the fight, she looked like her legs were just kind of a little bit giving way. She didn't look like she was like, what I mean mentally in there, I'm talking about like her functioning is all 100% correct, if that makes sense, and nothing's been tampered with. But bit down on the country, she gave it her all, unlike some people on the undercard. But we're going to get into that right now. But overall, great performance from Chantelle Cameron, and I can't wait to see the listen. I'm invested in this tournament more so than I was before, because I knew Chantelle Cameron and I knew her skill. I thought it's going to be clean up for Chantelle Cameron, but I'm going to watch the next semi-final. I probably wouldn't have before, but now I'm definitely going to watch it, provided that it's on a reasonable time. If not, I'm going to watch it back. Anyway, onto the undercard, bruv, I swear. Yeah. We'll start with Craig Richards. Actually, no. We'll start with down. We said we were going to go down. We're going to go down. We'll start off with Alan Babic versus Eric Molina. Alan battered him. I knew he was going to batter him. Round 2 or 3, I predicted that he was going to knock him out. And Chantelle Cameron, I predicted Poix's win for her. But on those, I didn't want it to go that way. I wanted Eric Molina to put up a bit more of a fight. And he does this thing where he kind of rotates his whole body. He basically bends his whole head down, rotates his head in a position where literally, if you're looking at his side on, the back of your head is like right there. So when Alan Babic is just doing that, he's just doing normal straight punches, but he's hitting the back of his head. And he's trying to, bruv, he's fat out, his gum shoulder cup, bruv, like, big man thing. He didn't look like he was on it. And this is why I'm always banging on about it. You can't just get random tune-ups or these sorts of individuals, they're just here for a payday, and it's not going to benefit your current fighter. Eddie rightly so said that will be the last time Eric Molina comes on the card, because he done it against Fabio Wardley, but we didn't really pick up on it, because he looked a little bit better in that fight. This one didn't be a bit of a fight. He got battered, literally 10 seconds in, battered, slumped to the floor. Round 1, he kind of did a little bit okay to sort of hang in there. Round 1, and then round 2 came in. It was like, yo, that's crazy. He got dropped a couple of times, and this time he got hit in the back of the head. He just literally, he didn't even get hit after that. I don't think he got hit, maybe on the arm or something, but he just dropped to the floor, and he took extra time to get up and didn't look as coordinated with the referee. He basically quit. He basically died. Done Tom Daly and Neymar, or I was going to say Mohamed Salah, but like, I can't use that anymore, because Mohamed Salah is flying. Anyway, less about football. He just took the dive, he took the knee. He didn't even take the knee, he just slumped his body on the floor and struggled to get back up again. I don't think we should see him fight ever again. I don't want to see him fight big man. If you're not going to be 100% committed, don't even bother, man. But Alan Babic, the story continues. I'm going to discuss. You know what? I'm not even going to count this fight, because he did a proper fight. So going forward, during my predictions, I'm not going to see this as a very credible win, because the opponent wasn't really up for it. I know it's a shame for Alan Babic because you put your all into it, but it is what it is. It takes 2 to tango, and you can't clap with one hand. It is what it is. Dylan was saying that, I think Eddie and Dylan were saying that he was going to have a fight like in between, and then he's going to go up and fight like a really big name. I'd like to see him next. Where would you put him in next? Good question. I'd put him in against Adam Kaunaki. I'll put him in against Adam Kaunaki. I think he could slump Adam Kaunaki. And that's where we're looking at bigger things. Maybe Helena straight after that, or maybe even Frank Sanchez. FA Dragba, I don't think he can hurt FA Dragba for some weird reason. But I think FA Dragba got dropped by Sanchez. Did he not get dropped? I could be mistaken. But I want to see him in bigger fights come next year. Yeah, the Savage Army continues. I want to see him in fights next year going forward. Anyway, what next? What is next? Hold on. We talked about Mary McGee. We talked about Alan Babic. What was before that? Johnny Fisher. Great fight by Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher continues his winning record and winning resume. It was against a tune-up fight, so we're not going to give him maximum credit for it because he's a fighter that's had an extreme losing record, or at least a losing record. So, but it was a good fight by Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher came out the gate looking really sharp, alert, good use of the jab. What I think about with Johnny Fisher, I think with a slightly little bit more conditioning. I'm not talking about injury conditioning. I'm talking about just a slightly little bit more conditioning. He'll be a lot more ferocious. When I mean a lot more ferocious, he'll be a lot more quicker with the jab. He'll be a lot more sharper with the right hand. Because right now, he is connected. He is doing all the right thing, but he's not doing it at a very high speed, if that makes sense. If he kind of conditions slightly, a little bit more stronger, a little bit more bodybuilder, like just slightly, because he's very loose, he's very elusive, if that makes sense, with regards to his punches. But if he conditions himself a little bit better, I'm not saying it's bad condition, I'm just saying chisel, maybe drop down slightly, just very slightly. I'm talking about 2-3 pounds better conditioning in your core muscles. Bang! I think he could do really well. I want to see Johnny Fisher. I'm telling you, I think Johnny Fisher should be fast tracked. I would say he's good enough to be world level. I'm saying he's got to be fast tracked. I'm talking. I want to see him next against the winner. I want to see him up against Otto Wallin. But Otto Wallin's not going to fight him. So maybe somebody who's. To be fair, a lot of these sort of heavyweights are going to be looking for people who they think they can beat, or tune-up fights, people like that. Johnny Fisher, put his name in the hat, and all of them, and somebody is going to buy. I'm talking big names, not big names, but at least top 20, fighters. I think he could easily beat. I think he'd beat Kaunaki. I could beat Helenius. I think he could beat who else? Do you know what? Maybe put him in against Fabio Wardley. Wild tradition, but why not? And what good performance from him. Rob the ball continues. I'm excited about him. I still, personality wise, I still don't like. It's mysterious. It's something about him. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know what it is with him. Yeah. I can't put my finger on it. It's something, but I can't put my finger. If you watch him, you kind of know what I'm on about. He comes across like a calm guy, very like easy guy, goes to uni, like he's calm, chilled guy, well known, and then he can knock people out. And it's something about him I need to work out. Yeah, in terms of his personality, his brand, etc. I need to work him out a bit more. Right, but I'm not saying like he's an ambiguous in terms of marketability, but exciting, bro. I don't know what it is. Anyway, you keep moving. I know I sound weird with regards to that, but you know the gist. Anyway, we have Craig Richards on the card as well. Craig Richards, I didn't think it was a great performance. I would say a little bit more flat. What I think it was is that I think he let his opponent is somebody who comes across as an individual who is usually dictates the fight himself. He dictates the rounds. Yeah, any momentum, he's the one who creates the momentum and sort of rides that sort of wave. Okay, but Craig is a very skillful boxer, so I think Craig went from punching him and trying to sort of like take his head off to kind of counter punching him, which is is a half decent sort of tactic. But I think Craig kind of let his opponent do have a little bit more confidence that he should have done in my opinion. So well, very good performance from Craig overall. Kind of stop. What round did he stop him in? He must have stopped. I think it was round 8 or something. Round 7, round 8. But good performance from Craig Richards. Move swiftly on. You know what? Who else do I want to see Craig Richards in against? I want to see him in with the likes of next Boazzi. I don't want to fight in between. Boazzi right now, because if you were talking about cobwebs, this guy took the cobwebs out of you, and you look fresher as the round's gone on. Even though he was in the driver's seat at all of those periods of time, he still looked like he was gaining some level of skill, accuracy, and control as the fight gone on. Boazzi. The reason why I say Boazzi, Yard and Linden are fighting in December. So if anything, Craig can still fight in January and against Boazzi. Why not? I can't see, for the life of me, I cannot see why he can't fight against Boazzi. I think Boazzi is fighting around that day anyway. Boazzi is fighting end of the year. But it's maybe a fight between, I don't know, and then Boazzi. And who do I think could win that fight? I don't know. We'll study it closer to the time. I'm leaning a little bit more to Boazzi's favour. But it very much depends on... If we get a 10 out of 10 Craig Richards against a 10 out of 10 Joshua Boazzi, I don't think we've ever seen the 10 out of 10 Joshua Boazzi. That's what makes it a little bit more exciting, because a lot of his performances have been 7s and 8s. So yeah, 7 8 performances always could be better, but I've never seen an actual 10 out of 10 performance from Joshua Boazzi, and that's where I'm a bit... I've seen a 10 out of 10, a moment of a 10 out of 10 from Craig Richards, from round 5 to about round 12 against Bivol, or round half the fight against Bivol. He was literally 10 out of 10. Early parts he was a little bit more reserved and fighting within himself. So I think Boazzi could... I'm leaning a little bit more to Boazzi, but I think Craig could still win as well. I'm very much like 49, 51. It's a little bit like, it's a Brexit thing, if that makes sense. It's a Brexit thing, yeah? But at least he got the W. That's the main thing. The result counts as well. And coming out a little bit on the cleaner side. Not in terms of, when I mean cleaner side, I'm talking about marks, damages, etc. Very good. Who else we got left? Kamari, I just about got to the Kamari fight, but overall, a very exciting fight on the eye. I think defensively both fighters are very good, but I just think offensively, I think they were missing a lot of their shots, and they kept just, one of them was throwing, the other was slipping. One of them slipping, the other was throwing, and I just think that the accuracy of punches and selection of punches at moments wasn't all 100% correct. Some of them were throwing an uppercut when at that moment, and more of an effective shot probably would have been a hook. But it was a good performance from both fighters. Okay, I would probably give it a 7.5 for both fighters out of 10. Maybe I'm a little bit being harsh on these two because I'm expecting a little bit more from them. But again, one of Dillon's prospects has unfortunately taken another loss. First of all, John Harden Jr., and now it's unfortunately it's Kamari. Where did he go from here? I think this is potentially his first loss of his career. I think it could be. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nevertheless, wow, it's a lot. You see, when you lose in against, when you lose like when you're, I don't know, in your 15th fight, it's probably one of the worst times to lose, because you've just about tried to escape out of the British scene, but you're not there. You're not world level yet. And to get into that bracket of world level, it's a very difficult place to get into. So anyway, hopefully he looks back at his fight and realizes some of the mistakes that he's done. A lot of it was sort of finishing the round looking good. He didn't finish the run. I don't think a lot of the rounds that I was watching, he didn't really finish the run fantastic, if that made sense. Which kind of, I know some people don't like, but you could have swayed a couple of judges doing that way, if that made sense. But it was very, very close to 50-55. Good performances. But that's all I just saw today. But overall, a great card. A great card. Thank you very much, Eddie. Thank you very much to DAZN. Ade done his thing. Ade on the people. Big him up, done his thing. I'm really proud of him and his growth. And I watched one of his videos the other day that was talking about wanting to talk to fighters straight after they've come out of a fight. And wow, you know what, Ade is like, it was like this, yeah. And then it's going like literally just straight up, literally like he went from a plane, no, he went from a car, yeah. His journey, watch his journey. He probably went from crawling to limp walking to crawling to limp walking to, and then he just went from there to riding a bike, bus, car, yeah. And now he's rocking. Now we're looking at his SpaceX, yeah. We're looking at he's chilling with Elon Musk and them, and he's going straight to the moon, yeah. He's uppercut up. I was about to, sorry, yeah. He's uppercutting the moon, yeah, and he's going straight for the stars. Big up Ade. Apologies, Ade Oladipo. The guy is a legend, yeah. And yeah, we'll end it on this. So drop a like on the video if you haven't done it already, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already as well. Drop a comment, let me know how you think, how you saw some of the fights, because I'm keen to see what everybody else thought of the fights, not just myself. But without further ado, peace to love and prosperity. I'm gonna catch you guys in a bit. Peace.